Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the RockyMounts GuideRail hitch mounted bike rack and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2023 Toyota 4Runner. As far as bike racks go, the GuideRail is a personal favorite of mine because it's really well built and I think it's a great fit on the 4Runner. It offers one of the best ground clearances out there, so if you're taking your 4Runner off the beaten path and you're worried about clearance, I don't think you have to worry about it as much with the GuideRail, and we'll check out that specific measurement later. But just as a rack itself, it's going to have an impressive capability, being able to hold up to 60 pounds per bike and making no frame contact with the bike, meaning it's good for carbon frame and alternative frame bikes because it just holds the bike by the tires on both sides. So you get this dual wheel mount, which protects the frame of the bike, makes it easy to hook up, but still keeps a strong hold on the bike. Like many other premium platform racks, this does have the ability to tilt away with the bikes loaded. There's a blue handle at the end of the rack right there that you can pull to release it. It's got a pretty aggressive tilt, so if you did have two bikes loaded up, you might just have to watch out and make sure it doesn't kind of hit you on the way back up. But it provides plenty of room for the larger lift gate on the 4Runner to open up, gives you a ton of room to walk in here, maybe grab a cooler out of the back, or just have a place to sit down and change your shoes before or after your ride. Loading and unloading is pretty straightforward. Both arms work the same way by ratcheting over the wheels, and the mechanism that controls all of that is down here, again, color-coded in blue. You can press it to release the tension on your tire and flip it all the way up to fully disengage the ratcheting mechanism, allowing you to push this out really as far as you need. So if you want it fully out of your way, you can get it out of your way. And you do that on both sides, just holding onto the bike in the process, and you can just lift it up and away. The hardest thing about this is going to be the lift, because that ground clearance is so good on the 4Runner, it means that it's going to sit pretty high up. So there's a fair amount of lift to get it up to that tray. So if you're maybe uncomfortable lifting a heavier e-bike, that's something to keep in mind. It's a sacrifice you make for the better clearance. Bringing out the tape measure, we can check out that specific ground clearance we mentioned earlier, which to the lowest point at the back end here is 30 inches from the ground. Like I said, the GuideRail has a really impressive rise in the shank. The two platforms are this sort of stadium style where the back one sits quite a bit higher than the front one, and the 4Runner already has good ground clearance, so you won't have to worry about bottoming out there. As far as the length we add to our vehicle, it is going to stick out 31 inches, which isn't bad for a two-bike rack. It's going to be a little less than some other options out there. Just keep in mind as you're driving around, there's still that added length back here. And when it's not in use, if you want to leave it in the hitch, you can use that same lever to actually fold this up to a storage position where we cut that length down quite a bit, down to 15 inches now, making it a lot easier to drive around with and pull into parking spots. When it's folded like this, it's important to note that it's a bit taller and quite a bit bulkier than other options out there. So you are going to be blocking your license plate pretty much completely. Same goes for your backup camera. You might get a little bit of visibility here, but it's not something I would fully rely on. You're going to have to really rely on that visibility out your window and through your mirrors. As far as your taillights go though, those are fully visible still because it sits just below it and to the inside edges. At the hitch, it's fitting with our factory 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube, and it's held in with a locking anti-rattle bolt. That anti-rattle keeps things solid in the hitch there, and the lock means that no one can mess with it when you're not around, and just pushes into place whenever we're looking to set that up. So you don't have to have a great view on it to get that locked up.
We're gonna take it out here on the test course. First thing we're gonna do is hit the bumps. We're just gonna see what it's like if we did hit some speed bumps. I'm watching the bike, watching how it holds on the tires. It looks like it moves just a little bit, not too much. This is mostly standard with other bike racks, so nothing to worry about. The bike doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Now we're gonna go a little bit faster in the parking lot. I'm gonna take some aggressive turns and see how it handles there. Looks like it's fine. I see a little movement again, but again, the bike's not going anywhere, so I don't have to worry about it.
So there's a lot of nice things to be said about the GuideRail. Like I said, it's one of my personal favorites, but like I mentioned before, If you're not comfortable lifting that heavier e-bike up to such a tall rack, then it just might not be the best fit for you. If you like this style though with the dual wheel mounts, I would recommend looking at the Kuat Piston Pro. That's going to be a very similar rack, has a few upgraded convenience features, but you can also get a ramp attachment for that rack, which allows you to ramp your bikes up rather than lift them up. It is a separate piece from the piston, but I think it's a worthwhile add-on if that's something you're worried about, and you're going to get a great experience with that rack. Otherwise, if you don't need that extra assist getting your bikes loaded, I think the GuideRail is a perfectly fine option. And that'll do it for our look at the RockyMounts GuideRail on the back of our 2023 Toyota 4Runner. Thanks for watching.